back here. Don't worry, we didn't leave you and run off. We're still here with Dr. Lynne from the National Honey Show. Lynne, could you tell us about the mead, please?
Oh, very excited to tell you that. Wonderful, wonderful display of meads. If you pan across, we've almost trebled the mead entries in the last 2 years, and they are just the mead maze is there. It is an exemplary craft, and to now have a Czechoslovakian entry that won and has taken a lovely big award is super exciting, and I'm hoping that there are going to be even more entries. So what I would love to see next year is more of the Polish, Slovenian, Czechoslovakian meads and the South African meads. So we had no South African mead entries this year. Disappointing, because there's a beautiful mead industry and meads. And I didn't enter any mead because I'm judging mead. So, but to speak for the class and it was just a glorious amount of entries. And so much wider representation. To the South Africans. They created the digital photography class so that we didn't have to post our photos, and if we could open up more honey entries. I mean, there's so many classes we can enter. We want to see more South Africans entering. Of course, I'm standing here as a South African hunting it all, but it is very, very exciting, and there's just so much going on in this show.
Absolutely, there is. It's absolutely stunning to look at. Such gorgeous colours. Now, I know that you didn't actually enter any mead. However, someone told me that you've entered some honey. Could we have a look at that?
You have no idea how excited I am. So, to my fellow Eastern Cape Xhosa South Africans, Wamkelekile National Honey Show 2025. Just so excited. I travelled with this honey in my suitcase, and it arrived. It had leaked. I had to tidy it up and get it onto the show, and I felt very intimidated to do so in such grand company. And it's awarded. But most exciting about it is the foraging of this particular honey. So to my dad, my brother, my nephew, when we harvested this earlier in the year, it was like, you have to take this to national. We have a little berry. And it's a blackberry that's incredibly dry and bitter. And when you eat it, it makes your mouth dry. But it makes the most glorious honey. So its Xhosa name is Ispingo. The Afrikaans name is Drogi, which is dry. And it's the beautiful harvest of Drogi honey that has a second place award in class 12 at the National Honey Show. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for myself and my family, but I'm so excited for South Africa, and I want to see more South African honey varieties. We have an extraordinary array of honeys, and to get the Eastern Cape on the map at the National Honey Show 2025, pure gold.
It really is an incredible achievement, and it looks very tasty, I must say.
Oh,
Second place.
I'm going to
very, very.
I'm going to show it off. Isn't that beautiful? Drogi honey, Eastern Cape, South Africa. So there are some other South African awards. Very excited about that. We only had 3 South Africans enter, but 2 of the 3 of us have awarded in what we put in. So I got a second place in photography digital, and this honey award is the gold, rain gold. And then Kai Hitchett from Johannesburg works with developing beekeeping projects. And each of his 3 entries have been awarded a second, a third, and a very highly commended. So I want to take you around to show those. We really do have the most amazing honey foraging varieties, and the most amazing bees. We have indigenous bees, indigenous lives in the Apis mellifera is the honeybee. We have Apis mellifera scutellata, which is the African bee, and I don't want anybody to use its really awful words, get terrible names. I'm not going to put them in there. It's the most magnificent bee, and it's a very hard-working, very defensive little bee, but absolutely exquisite. Our second indigenous bee, in a very, very specific and protected biome, is Apis mellifera capensis, the Cape honeybee. And we have that magnificent Cape biome of fynbos. It's got that bee is supposed to be kept in its zone. We have zones in South Africa for the capensis, down in the southern and western Cape, and a little further up northern Cape, a little bit. And then scutellata, actually, northern parts of South Africa, all the way up the East African coastline. So it goes a long way up Tanzania, Kenya way. So our two bees are Apis mellifera capensis, the Cape honeybee, and Apis mellifera scutellata. That drohi honey I showed you now was my capensis colony down on the Eastern Cape coast. Kai's winning awards here are scutellata, and they're far further north. Very different in colour to what I've just shown you. So we're going to class 14, it's just here in front of us. And with the steward's permission, I'm going to just pick up these bottles quickly and show you. So it's this one. Beautiful, isn't that?
Absolutely.
And this one. And this one. So congratulations, Kai and South Africa, and your beekeeping projects. I think these aren't the biggest bottles on show and not the widest in representation, but if you gave the percentage of, he was awarded in all three of his three entries, and I've been awarded in the two of mine. That's almost a 100% success rate. So really, the South Africans are so welcome to exhibit again next year.
Yes, and I can imagine with such great success this year, we may well have a whole hive of honeybees from South Africa helping us with our honey.
That would be so good. It'd be so good to get some beekeepers to come across, and we've had some exciting conversations here with some good ideas. The Tanzanians are bringing over some bee farmers next year to the National Honey Show. See what we can put together from the whole Southern African region, the whole African region, if anyone, wherever anyone wants to participate. But we need to bring these other honey varieties into the show.
So for our viewers who are perhaps not so familiar with South African bees,
yes.
How would you describe them? Are they bigger than our bees in England, or are they tiny little bees? Are they bright pink?
They're a little smaller and lighter and more smart. They are infamously a little more defensive. We're used to working with them, but they are very defensive. So we would never use the word aggressive on a bee, but beekeeping, the Apis mellifera and the Ligustica and the hybrid species here in the UK are so much softer and easier than working with our bees. They're fast, very productive, very strong colonies, resilient, disease resistant. We have a very, very special, we are the guardians of the bees. They kind of rule. Whereas the bee farming in the UK, you're the beekeeper. I wouldn't even pretend to go, our bees are under our domestic control. That's not the case. There's fantastic beekeeping happening, but we really are privileged guardians of our two bee species, and we need to look after them. They serve us well, and they have unique characteristics and attributes that we need to protect and need to be very responsible with.
So that makes me wonder if we won't say aggressive, but if they're perhaps a little feistier than our bees in England, a lot feistier. Do you have to wear different types of bee suits or something perhaps a bit more protective?
Good question. Our bee suits are, I think, plus 5mm, and they are thicker than the UK suits, without a doubt. And we're well suited up for scutellata. Well suited up. There've been a few. I've I hesitate to speak out of line, but in the UK, you can quite easily get away without gloves and a veil. I don't want to sound irresponsible to the public. Please suit up professionally if you are working with bees, safely. But I would not risk working with an agitated colony of bees in South Africa without being fully suited up. Fully suited.
Goodness, but it makes the job more exciting, or perhaps the pastime rather than the job.
Is.
It's more of a lifestyle, I think.
Right.
Well, if your bees in South Africa are a little sparklier, perhaps, than ours in England, I wonder if the honey is a little bit sparklier too.
It is.
I think.
I never finished answering. You said, how different were they? And I went down a rabbit hole on something else. They're smaller, and the scutellata is got gorgeous gold bands on its body. And the capensis is a little darker. It's not as bright as the scutellata bee, but it's brighter than the mellifera dark bee here. But they are smaller, but they're very hairy. And I didn't actually realize that until I started looking at close-up photos of my own bees. It's like they really are quite hairy. They're hairier than the UK bees. So they're small, colourful, and hairy.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us.
You're
It's been an
welcome.
absolute pleasure to talk to you. We are live at the National Honey Show, and you can keep following us throughout the day and tomorrow. Don't forget, if you want to pop down to the show, you can get your tickets at the front door.
Excellent.
And Lynn, how long will you be here? Will you be here
I'm
tomorrow
flying
as well?
home on Saturday, and I do absolutely adore going back home, I must say. Been a wonderful, wonderful time. And thank you to the Honey Show, and thank you for the interview.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Viewers, stay
So welcome.
tuned, follow us on social media, and